Hey there, guys. Welcome back to another episode of Train Terms Talk Show. This is episode 24 now. And after this, I'm going to take a break from Train Terms Talk Show. I'm not going to end the series temporarily, but what I mean by that is I'm going to take a break from episodes because I've been making a lot of these because I am running out of ideas for my YouTube channel. And I'm sure you all want to see some different content. So, on my phone, I will be doing a video of Dragon Ball Z Dokkan Battle very soon for some other content so that way you all don't get bored of this. I mean, I'm glad you like it, but after seeing many of these episodes, you'll probably get bored for a while. I don't know how you guys work. But anyway, we're going to be learning about the train symbols of the Big Four. And when I say the Big Four, I mean the top four biggest railroads ever. CSX, BNSF, UP, and NS. Those are the Big Four. And we're going to be learning about the symbols of each of them. When someone tells you, like these letters and numbers put all together, what the heck does that mean? Well, we're going to go over what all of that stands for, so that way you can take your rail fanning knowledge to the next level. So without further ado, let's begin. For a CSX symbol, they all have one letter and three numbers. And that's pretty much what CN does as well. But we'll get to the other railroads later. But for now, I'm just going to be focusing on the more known, popular railroads. And I'm starting with the Big Four. Later on, I'll get to CN, CP, and KCS, and then the rest of the symbols you can find on your own. But anyway, let's take a look at an example. So for CSX symbols, the letters will go all the way from A to Z. And then the numbers are just completely random. They mean nothing. They're just like the given numbers for a symbol. Other railroads do that too. And so, let's start with A through J. So, I'll show you what each letter means. And then for a symbol, you'll see that letter and then the three random numbers. And you can find the three random numbers on your own. But anyway, without further ado, let's begin. Alright, well there you go guys, now you know what everything means in the CSX. And usually the three numbers don't matter. Usually the only time that a number matters would be like the first one. Like for example, Q3 would be the North Midwest region of manifest, but Q0 would be a different type of train, So sometimes the first number can matter, but then other times it doesn't really matter, and it usually doesn't mean anything, It's just totally random numbers, But now, without further ado, let's move on to Union Pacific. Now then, I must say, Union Pacific works a little differently. They have more things, like prefixes / designation. They also have suffixes, destination, origin date codes, and origin date codes, and code location. Now then, I would show you what all the code location means, but there are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of them. Yes, look at how many there are as I scroll down. Yeah, I would show you what they all mean, but yeah, there's hundreds of them, so you can figure that out yourself. Sorry. So anyway, let's start with the prefixes and suffixes, and then after that I'll show you the origin date codes. I'll have to do like a little montage of that again, because if I talk it out, this episode is going to be way too long. It's already been about 6 or 7 minutes, and I still have 2 more railroad symbols to go over, so kind of got to rush a little. I can't make it too long, or else you guys are going to get bored and you don't want to leave. Alright, well, without further ado, let's begin. Okay, so before we move on to NS, let's try this example. This is ILDYC2, a train that runs on the UP Mount Vernon sub. For the prefix, the I is intermodal, the code location, LD, Laredo, Texas, where it starts at, and then YC, the code location where it terminates at, Yard Center, which is in Chicago, Illinois, and then 2 is the origin day codes, which 2 means Tuesday in this case. Now, Norfolk Southern train symbols do work a little bit differently. Instead of like, CSX having one letter and three numbers, or UP having mostly letters and sometimes one number, all that good stuff. Well, NS works a little differently. Most of their symbols are all numbers, just 3-digit numbers. Like right here, for example, right here, 431. This is an actual train symbol. It is empty because for coal train symbols, even numbers are loaded and odd number trains are empty. And then there's also the direction of train based on symbol. Even number trains are usually eastbounds and southbounds. Odd number trains are usually westbounds and northbounds. Usually. Sometimes it can be a little different. Like, for example, 319, that's an odd number, and 319 actually goes east. But however, though, 319 got completely abolished. Like, sometime last year in 2019, I think. Something like that. And then for locals, they have a division letter series. It'll start with the letter and then 2 more numbers. And then for extra section letters, there will be 1 letter and then 2 numbers and sometimes 3 numbers. It works like that as well too. So anyway, I'm going to show you the list of all these things right here. So without further ado, let's begin. And now, moving on to the final symbol. Out of all 4, out of the big 4, we're moving on to the final one now. You guys probably already know what it is. Good old BNSF. Now, BNSF can have some complex symbols. Like, their symbols are just a little bit more complex. Like, they're different for sure. Sometimes they can be a little hard to tell, too. And like the coal trains, especially the coal trains, because all the coal trains look extremely identical, and sometimes the symbols always vary. So yeah, oh boy, this is going to be fun. Yay, let's do BNSF. Oh yeah, here's an example of a BNSF symbol. Yeah, look at that. Look at how complicated that looks right there, my friends. Yeah, it looks like a UP symbol, but 10 times more complicated. I'm probably overreacting a little bit. But without further ado, let's get started. And yes, if you're getting tired of that song that I play, in the background while I'm showing you what symbol means. Well, you're in luck, because this is the last time you get to hear it. And there you go. That is all that you need to know for BNSF symbols. Yes, I know, it wasn't as long as the other ones. But anyway, now let's do a quick example on a BNSF symbol, and then that'll finally be it for this long episode of Train Terms Talk Show. And right here is an example of a BNSF train symbol that goes from Chicago to Galesburg. The H is indicating High Priority Manifest. CHC is the abbreviation for Chicago, which is the origin. GAL is Galesburg, Illinois. 1 is the train priority, which means it is the lowest priority, because 9 is the highest type of priority. 01 is calendar day of the month the train originates, which will always have 2 numeric characteristics. That is an example right there, and you know what the other letters mean, and then, these 2 in the middle here are just your code location, which is what Union Pacific likes to call them. And the train priority is super easy, and then the calendar day thing, you'll be able to figure that out, because that's also super easy as well. Alright guys, well that is it for today on train symbols of the Big Four. And remember, the Big Four is CSX, UP, NS, and BNSF. So if anyone says the Big Four, you'll instantly know what you're talking about now. And this has actually been a very long episode of Train Terms Talk Show. This one's just as long as the episode of my cowl body locomotives, which I probably should have put in a 2-part episode, but it's too late now, who cares? Anyway, I hope you all enjoy this video. Next up on train symbols will be CN and CP. We will eventually get to the other Class 1 railroad, Kansas City Southern. I may just also put it in there with CN and CP. I don't know yet. But anyway, guys, as I said, I hope you all enjoy. Consider subscribing for more awesome content, especially if you want to learn more about trains and other things that are related with all that stuff, so you could take your rail fanning knowledge to the next level. But anyway, that is it. Game Rail Productions is signing out.